Hello, I am Keith Norman and I have been asked by Walter Lewin to do the video for the solution to problem 249. So Walter's having a day off. The solution I'll present are two ways of doing it by Ulf Haller, and as you can see the intro is by me. So to begin, Walter discusses RL circuits in 802 lecture 20. However, in 803 lecture 1, Walter introduces the use of complex numbers to solve problems like this in a very easy way. That's a very easy mathematical way. The physics is obviously the same whatever way you choose to solve the problem. Ulf Haller, Old TV Nut and Ferzan Tapramaz take this approach of using complex numbers. They also note that the capacitor in the circuit below can be ignored because it has no real power loss and does not affect the current in the RL path. So we have the capacitor, no power loss, and the RL path there is the one of importance. Okay, so we can see the problem. The problem is to work out the real power loss in the circuit shown. Following on from Walter's 803 lecture 1, I just want to summarize the use of complex numbers, complex notation for a circuit like this. So if we apply what Walter was teaching roughly halfway through lecture 1 of 803, I can summarize it this way. We treat the resistance as real along the x-axis in the diagram. We treat reactance as imaginary in the vertical axis, and inductance is positive, where XL, the reactance for an inductor, is omega L going upwards, and for a capacitance, XC is minus 1 over omega C, so it's going down. And then the green arrow shows the impedance, which for any particular circuit is the combination of reactance and resistance. And that will be a complex number, usually a complex number rather than real or imaginary. Thus, if using complex notation, ZR, the impedance of a resistor, stays simply as R and is real. ZL, the impedance of an inductor, is J omega L, where J we are using as the square root of minus 1. In mathematics, you will usually see I is the square root of minus 1, but in physics and engineering, J is much more common because we both tend to use I for a current. And finally, the impedance of a capacitor is 1 over J omega C. So if you do look at 803 lecture 1, it's a good place if you're not sure of how to use complex numbers in problems like this. It's a very good place to start. Have a look at what Walter does about halfway into the lecture and then come back here, and this summary should help you quite a bit. So now we see Ulf Haller's first solution. This is the solution that makes use of complex notation, complex numbers. We're given the initial conditions for Vt, the value of the capacitor, the inductor and the resistor, and omega and V naught. So the capacitor branch has a purely imaginary value of impedance. The capacitor is purely reactive, so it consumes zero average power. In other words, no real power lost. Onto the R plus L branch. The impedance is R plus J omega L, which we can see is 5 plus J times 62.8 ohms. Ulf works out the magnitude of that, which is modulus of ZRL, which turns out to be 63 ohms. He can then work out the RMS value of the current, IRL, which is the square root of 3968.84. And so we can work out the real power consumption. Power is only consumed, real power only consumed in the resistor, and it's the square of the current, the RMS current, times the resistor, and he gets about 61.3 watts. He also notes, coming from Sweden, I'm not surprised, that this looks like a model of a 60 watt light bulb driven by 220 volts AC at 50 Hertz. So that is his solution using complex numbers. Finally, he does a second approach, and I corrected a couple of typos in this and actually one in the previous, but we'll forgive him that. I'm always making typos myself. So here is his second solution. Same starting values, and what he does this time is he reorganizes the circuit, so we can now substitute for the original L and R in series and then both in parallel with the capacitor to 3 circuit elements in parallel with each other. He first works out the quality factor, which Walter has covered in his 802 lectures, I think lecture 20 or thereabouts. He then converts the series resistor R in the first circuit you saw into RP. And he also, down at the bottom of the calculation, just for good measure, converts L into LP, but LP doesn't matter here. So because the 3 are in parallel, we can now do a simple calculation of saying that the power consumed, which is all in RP, although RP does have is affected by the omega, because we're now looking at RP equals R1 plus Q squared. He now can work out that P is simply V0 squared over 2RP. The 2 comes in because we want the RMS. And again, we get 61.3 watts. And that is it. Finally, thank you to Ulf Haller for providing the solutions, both solutions, to Walter for letting me have an opportunity to do the video, and for everybody who attempted, and particularly those who got